when you look like Santa Claus, sometimes you gotta be Santa Claus. I was sitting at my desk, and all of a sudden I heard St. Claus. I looked up in the doorway, and here was this cute little kid. He had beautiful ringlets coming down of brown hair. His eyes, of course, were like saucers because he was looking at me, and they were very dark eyes. Just beautiful kid. Well, about that time, his mom came around the corner, grabbed him, and she says, no, it's the next office, and off they went. Well, the next office was a speech-language pathologist. She had been working with this little guy for about a year, and I was just enthralled. Well, after the session, I went over to Lisa and I said, whoa, who was that kid? She says, oh, that's Anthony. I said, he stood in the doorway and he says, Santa Claus. She says, no, he didn't. What do you mean? She says, he is profoundly deaf. He has never heard the words. Oh, okay. Well, next week, same time, same place, I look up from my desk and St. Claus. This time I said, I heard him say it. Mom took him next door. At the end of the hour, I went over and I said, he said St. Claus. She says, no, he's never heard the word. He could not possibly say Santa Claus. Okay, this went on for the third week and the fourth week, and I kept saying to Lisa, come on over, sit in the chair next to my desk and listen. You will hear him say Santa Claus. She says, well, Lisa was one of those people who ran about 5 minutes behind. So she was getting ready as he's coming down the hall, and she never had time to come and sit in the chair. Okay, so then as time went along, of course, I would go next door and talk with her, and she said, it's funny because this past week, he put his hearing aids in the backyard and covered them up. Okay. Isn't he deaf? Yes, he's profoundly deaf. Okay, and he has hearing aids. Yeah. Okay. Well, another week or two, and I went over there, and she said, really funny one. Dad didn't think it was funny at all. He took a hearing aid, he put it in the garage, and put a big leaf over it. Well, Dad drove the car into the garage right over the leaf. Okay, there's something wrong here. We've got to go down and talk to she had just graduated from UW Oshkosh. And I said, do you know the dean down there? She says, oh, yeah, we're good friends. I said, let's go to Oshkosh. So we did. We went down and we got into the dean's office and we were explaining what I had seen. And, of course, she was telling how the progress she was making with him. And the dean says, I don't know Anthony, but I've heard of the situation. I have a friend coming up from Florida, and she's a pediatric SLP, and so she can examine him. She owes me one anyway. Well, this was like on a Thursday. Monday, we were back in the car at Oshkosh. What did you find out? Well, he's 2 years old, almost 3, and of course they don't have an attention span that's very long. She was only able to test his right ear, and he is profoundly deaf. Okay, I didn't believe him, but that's what they said. Well, he got to about the next to the last time that he was coming because he was turning 3 and he had to go to a different program. This particular time, Dad brought him. So I went out into the lobby, and he and Dad were out there. The way the thing was set up, there was chairs on one side, chairs on the other side, a coffee table with magazines. In the corner where Dad was sitting was a square table with magazines and a lamp. So I'm sitting on one side of the room and Dad over there. And Anthony was doing what 2-year-olds do. Anthony was playing with the magazines on the coffee table, and then he was playing with the magazines over on the table in the corner. Dad had taken off his sunglasses and had set them down on the magazines. Well, Anthony picked up the sunglasses and he took them like this, and he's going like this. And I, not thinking, I just said, no, Anthony, take that back to your dad. Anthony turned around and took the sunglasses back to his dad. When that session was over, I was down the hall. He can hear. Okay, so we went back to Oshkosh to see the dean. He said, there's a new program. It's a brand new program down at Children's Hospital in Milwaukee. And what they're doing is they're tapping into the brain stem and seeing what they see reaction there. I'll see if I can get him into that program. Well, it didn't take him more than about 3 days, and he called us and he says, I've got Anthony in that program. I'll let you know what the results are. Eventually, we got the results, and they found something they had never, ever seen before. When you get old, like Santa Claus, your hearing goes, but it isn't like you're turning down the volume. What you're losing is different frequencies. And in Anthony's case, he was hearing, but the frequencies were moving, and they had never seen anything like that before. That was some of the beginning work in the cochlear implant. Sometimes you have to be Santa. And in this case, Santa gave Anthony the best present he could possibly give him. He listened.